What is going on, guys? Ryan here with another episode of the Dent Digest Live Show. Thanks for joining me on this fantastic Thursday. The weather here in Maryland the last couple of days has been amazing. It's been kind of refreshing. Doesn't mean it's not going to snow by Sunday. So, you just never know here. You leave your house, you've got shorts on, you've got pants with you, you got 3 sweatshirts, a long sleeve shirt, because you just don't know what the weather's going to be. So I want to go over some news. We've got the Dream event with Don and Dave Stream coming up. So if you guys haven't signed up with that, we got some pretty good speakers that are going on with pretty quick little, information packed in there. So sign up for that. You've got Matt Moore's event that is coming up also. That's what we talked about last week. I'll tell you, that's such a great idea. Such a great idea for a guy that's trying to figure out if he wants to get into the paintless dent repair business and if he wants to invest in himself and grow a company, or if he wants to work for someone else before you make that investment. So I think that was just something that there really isn't a whole lot of companies that do that. And I just thought it was such a great idea to come up with like a seminar like that, just to kind of figure it out if it's going to work for you. And I've got a couple tools here that I want to bring on that have been on, but really need to get another mention because they just work so good. First one I'm going to put on, I posted these today and I've used them a lot. I seem to be like the only guy in Maryland that fixes roofs and busted fenders. So these Cam Auto fender edge pliers, fender blowout pliers, they are freaking awesome. If you don't have these and you're fixing bad stuff, dude, you are missing out. Posted a picture earlier today on Instagram, and it just makes it so easy when you get that kink on the lip and you're struggling and the fender's blown out. I mean, today I literally clamped these on the fender and we're pushing with it clamped and just kept that edge from blowing back out. The other thing that I did with these, when you get that damage on the very edge, I use a combination of tools. I use the Excalibur fender tool where it's that big hook on the very end and you kind of pull it. But I was also using these fed up in there and we're rocking it, and it was pulling that very low at the very edge of the fender back to where it needed to be. So if you guys don't have these, I know Anson sells them, Cam Auto sells them. Get them. They're not real expensive. Fantastic tool. You'll thank me later. Another tool that does not get a whole lot of love, and I've been using it for the last couple weeks. I'm a little blending hammer heavy right now, but this blending hammer right here from Metal Medic is fantastic. What I really like is this portion of it, how this aluminum ball literally just feels so comfortable in your hand. The size for me works really well. It's got a screw on tip at the end. It's got this little orange boot that you can take off to where, you could use it for crowns like this, or you could pull it off and use it for the blending hammer. Carbon shaft. It's called the Rail Blaster. Just a really well balanced. I mean, you could see it right there, how balanced this tool is. But something about this handle, I mean, I just love it in my hand. I mean, I got these little kid hands, so for me, it fits perfect. But really good job. Really good blending hammer. So if you guys are in the market for kind of a universal, this thing is really comfortable in the hand and really well made. So there's another one. Now I have a non-paintless dent repair tool, and this is the last one because I want to get into this show. If you guys haven't seen these, it's from Snap-on. And what it is, I'm a flashlight guy. When you're taking this stuff apart, you always need a flashlight, USB-C charged. What I really like about it, it's got magnets on the back, magnet on the bottom, and it's got 3 modes. It's got the standard LED light. It's got a bigger LED light off to the side, off to the face there. And then it's got a back one. And what I liked about the back one was if you magnet it on something, the back one can light up your area, which works really well if you're in a trunk trying to get the trunk trim down. Put this on the hinge. It's a really, really good flashlight. Charges really fast, lasts a long time. And it's like, I think it was $79. But if you're looking for a flashlight, this thing works fantastic. It seems like I'm saying fantastic a lot tonight, but it's some good stuff here, you know? So I want to get this thing rocking. We got a lot of information to go over about some local SEO, some Google My Business, and just kind of get into some of that information, that shit that I don't even know, even though I'm in Google jail right now. But, you know, it's there's so much you got to learn. You know, I mean, I learned a lot over when we were in the quarantine. Just kind of taught myself YouTube University, and I don't know. I think there's more people out there that have way more time and way more energy and have a clue what the hell buttons are pushing and making things happen. So, and I'll get into my story how I kind of ran into this guy. He's a local guy here, but he's a Facebook thing. So let me get him on. What's up, Bradley?
What's going on?
So Bradley, your company is MDSC Pro, SEO Pro?
Correct. Yep.
So it was funny because I was on Facebook and I'm in like this little local, and this is one thing you guys should do too, as in your local areas, is get into these little Facebook groups that have businesses. And it was like Harford County Hustlers or something like that. And he was sitting in his wife's car, or his car, waiting for his wife.
Yeah.
And he just started going off about Google and, you know, how he's trying to grow his business and really get into what he enjoys. And I was like, okay, now, you know, I'm not really into it, but I'm kind of into it. And, you know, and I was like, okay, this guy's got an idea of what he's talking about. And then I think like I liked it. And then you reached out on Facebook, and then we've been talking ever since. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, so give us a little background on yourself.
Yeah. So SEO is not originally, you know, kind of what I got into as a business. Originally, I was building websites for people, and my background is actually computer programming. So I'm a self-taught computer programmer, got involved with that, did that for a couple businesses, built a lot of websites. And then it kind of got into the idea of, well, I started dabbling in trying to get people's site to rank higher in Google for different key terms. So maybe, you know, roofer in Parkville or plumber in Towson and stuff like that. And it just was more of a ones and zeros kind of game to me, as opposed to the designing of a website. And I've always been very artistic in that way. So I digged designing a website. But the thing is, people are so particular about their website. And it's kind of like a website is the storytelling of a brand. And as someone who's not working to like for that brand, it's very hard for me to convey that same message. Whereas SEO is ones and zeros. It's, you know, either what you're doing is increasing the ranking or it's not. So, and it just kind of became a game. Like, you know, this site doesn't have this much content on it, or this company is not as big as this company, but we can get them to rank higher than it just feels good to do. So it just kind of became a game for me. So, yeah.
And that's a whole nother, I remember talking to you. I was like, look, dude, you got to speak English to me because you're speaking Spanglish and we need to slow down. You're like, no, you got an idea what you're doing. I'm like, no, I'm faking it till I make it.
Yeah, man.
So you obviously started this little business and kind of helped some local guys. I see you did a lot with some roofing companies and which a lot of those guys do need that help. You know, same thing in my industry is
for sure. Yeah.
We just don't know. You know what I mean? We just don't. We don't know. You get in there, you set up your Google My Business. You're like, oh, I'm good. Then you kind of get a website built on Wix or whatever you have to do, and you think you're okay.
Yeah. It depends on how competitive the industry is, for sure. And I think the issue with a lot of service-based businesses and like you know, roofers, you know, auto dent repair, plumbing, stuff like that, the website kind of gets treated like a business card. you know, and then people maybe will spend $500 and build a website out, or get, you know, their tech savvy nephew to build them a website. But building a pretty website is way different than building a website that converts, and building a website that has the optimization to rank you for keywords that are really valuable to you, that get multiple searches per month, is a totally different game than building a good looking website. That's not to say that you shouldn't build a good looking website, but it's definitely very different, different approach that's involved in that, for sure.
And I'll tell you, I kind of learned that on the rocks a little bit, because I built a Wix website originally, and it did really well. Like on the ranking, it did really well. And then I implemented a new website, and it didn't rank as well.
You're like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, what I realize is there's so much stuff in a website that's on the back side of that website you don't even know is going on, that Wix kind of implemented a little bit of that more than I had on my regular website, that I had no clue that we needed, you know?
Sure.
But I'll tell you, man, I don't know how you guys do it. You know what I mean? Coding and now, what's your thought? I'm going to get into something a little quick.
Sure.
On a self-coded website. So, you know, you have like a WordPress website, and then you have a self-coded website. Why is a self-coded website better than like a WordPress?
Better in what way will be my question. I would say there's pros and cons to both, right? Like a self-coded website versus a WordPress website nowadays, I would probably lean toward the WordPress website. You can start it up a whole lot faster. Your access to tools that allow SEO to be easier to be made, you know, modifications. It's just a lot easier. Generally speaking, you know, I'm a self-taught programmer, and I love programming and building sites like from dead scratch, you know, code. But it just doesn't really serve to build a lot of websites quick. It doesn't serve to be able to reuse like your settings. It's just not really necessary. Now,
and it's expensive,
and it's super expensive, and time consuming. You can be more custom in that regard. However, you know, plugins like Elementor or like your Divi, you know, your drag and drop type stuff. Now it's not just drag and drop. You can kind of open that up and be able to implement your own code. So if there's a situation where you had to hire somebody on to build something custom for you, you probably could, without it having to be a completely hard-coded website.
Yeah.
Now,
so one of the guys is asking, how long should it take to rank?
Hey, that depends on the keyword, right? That depends on the phrase. If you want to rank for, say, you know, a specific type of dent repair in a specific area. So if we're combining the words of, like, you know, the service plus the area,
like me,
specific,
you know, mobile paintless dent repair, Glen Burnie, or
that might be a little bit faster. You know what I mean? Than you know, dent repair Maryland. You know, that's going to be a lot more competitive, generally speaking. But, you know, it all comes back down to your research. Like, you got to go in there and see, you know, how difficult it is to rank for these keywords. So if you're typing into Google and you see the people that are showing up and they have a domain authority that's way higher than yours, you're going to have to do a lot more heavy lifting. You're going to need a lot more patience. There's going to have to be, you know, a lot better content going on. I mean, there's tactics that you can go through, but yeah, something that's like, you know, a Maryland dent repair might be a little tough, but you know, doesn't mean you can't find other ones that are like, you know, Parkville dent repair, Glen Burnie dent repair. That could be easier.
Down. Yeah. Now he's asking, does reviews help with ranking?
Of course. Yeah, they definitely help with ranking. But it's a little bit, you know, different depending on what part of the Google pack you show up in, right? So actually, we were kind of talking about this. We were riffing on this before we went on, but showing up in the map results does take a different criteria than showing up in the search results themselves. So, you know, reviews can be used in different ways. So reviews on your Google My Business account is definitely going to, and reviews that have, you know, text that's saying, you know, thank you guys so much for the dent repair in Glen Burnie. that's a way more valuable review than just a bunch of 5-star reviews with no text, no images, no nothing.
And I learned that from you.
Yeah.
That was something, and you need to get on his, before we get off here, I'll make sure everybody gets your handle and all your stuff, because you throw little snippets on your Facebook page, and I was like, damn, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And I remember like one of the first times we talked, I'm like, bro, you just threw me a curveball, because I got 200 and some reviews and I haven't done that.
Yeah. And it's definitely like that type of stuff's within your control. You don't need to learn code to kind of, do that. Google My Business on the back end of it does have a way you can send a text link so they can go straight to doing that. But then there's also like really crazy wild stuff you could do on your website with reviews from Google My Business and then I know you do this as well, is geotagging the images, which is basically saying that when someone takes a picture of before and after, this is for instance for dent repair, you get pictures of before and after for a client, and you geotag the images for your location, and then on top of that you make a page on your site for that service area. So say you have a page on your site that's Glen Burnie Dent Repair, and that's separate than your other pages. You can link that before and after image that's been geotagged with Glen Burnie in that specific area, and you can list that review on, embed that review onto that page. Yeah. And that's been shown for sure to increase ranking, a lot faster.
I've been telling these guys since last year, COVID times, geotagging the photos. It's easy.
Yeah,
it is. I pay for a service. It's $100 a year.
Yep.
And
it's worth it.
I can figure it out. You can figure it out. It's super easy. And I use it on everything. I use it on Facebook. I use it on Instagram. I use it on all of it.
Yeah.
The other thing it does on that site is lets you hide keywords behind the photo. So when you put a description in the photo, it's buried in it.
Yeah.
So that helps too. What kind of services do you offer? Just so these guys have an idea what in your business, if they're looking for some help.
Sure.
What do you offer?
Yeah. So obviously first and foremost is consulting, just like planning out what the right approach is for, custom tailored to your type of business, and, what keywords you should be looking for, doing the keyword research for you, et cetera. And then obviously, building websites, and now my brother has been working a lot on social media marketing, and I think we're going to end up kind of doing some work together where he's doing the marketing side of social media, building content for brand or for companies. And then I've done a lot of work managing Facebook ad campaigns for service-based businesses. Your classic 3-stack ad for Facebook, which would be like your introduction with, trying to kind of get the feelers out there, video introduction. If people watch a certain percentage of that video, then we show them the second video, which is the testimonials before and after. And then if they watch a certain percentage of that, then you hit them with a sale video. You know what I mean? And I think I'm leaning towards doing a lot more of that, especially for businesses that don't have that are trying to that need leads, mm-hmm. and they don't have the time to kind of invest in a 6-month SEO campaigns. Like, I need leads now. How can I get these leads now? And Facebook is the bread and butter for that. So yeah, it would be like Facebook ad management, Facebook and social media marketing, search engine optimization, web design and development, and then consulting.
Okay. Now, obviously, some of these guys, are asking some of those questions that all of us need to know. But with Google My Business and what I've learned, and like I keep telling everybody, I'm in Google jail.
Yeah.
My situation's super rare because I've talked to Google for 2 months. And if you guys don't know, I'll give you a little rundown. What I did was I opened up a new location. I went to go transfer all of my information, my 200 and some reviews, over to my new location. Through Google, had Google on the phone. They walked me through the process to do. 48 to 72 hours, you'll have everything back. Well, all the reviews came over, but the listing vanished. I say I'm orphaned too. You know, I'm kind of just out there, and it hasn't really shown back up. So we're trying to figure that out. But what I did learn is how important some of the details were on the listing. You know, you go in there and you fill out stuff, and I was copying and pasting stuff from my website that was kind of against some of Google's rules that you just don't know.
Right.
So hire a professional. I know it doesn't cost a whole lot for someone like you to help someone get that kind of sorted to where it's in the guidelines. Because when you get out of the guidelines, when you get all these they're always asking for reviews to change this or an edit or get it straight. You know, I had multiple locations set up, and it wasn't set up correctly. You know, so if you have multiple locations, set them up as a group. Don't set them up as individual locations. So, you know, there's a lot of information on there, and there's a lot more people that look at that than you think. And what's your feeling with the Google My Business as starting, trying to really get it rolling? What's your best bang for the buck to help you grow?
Best bang for your buck for sure on Google My Business is to fill out all the information you possibly can that allows you to fill out on there as accurate as you can for your business. Do your research if you can to see other businesses that you are trying to rank for that are in your niche, that you're trying to rank for the things that they're trying to rank for, and see how they're labeling their type and subtype of their business and services, and use those. And then, you know, the biggest part of it is citations. You know, it's directory listings, and you can get a service. You can pay a service to push all those, especially if you're a new business.
Now,
I think it's really important to do that.
Let's break that down real quick. Explain what citations are, because some of these guys don't know. I just learned what citations were in the last month and a half or 2 months. So
so citations is just a link. So it's a link from another website that's pointing to your website. Now, in the case of directory citation links, which is what Google is valuing probably the most, not the most, but valuing very high. It's a big chunk of how you rank locally, has to do with quantity of directory links. So we're talking like things like, you know, Yelp or Home Advisor or Yellow Pages, Angie's List. And some are more valuable depending on your industry, depending on what state you're in. The algorithms are all kind of crazy with that. But generally speaking, the more you have as far as these directory links goes, with the same name, address, phone number, website address written the same way, the better. And then the other thing on top of that would be, if, you know, once you've got that handled, 50 to 100 really good directory links, especially if they're niche based. You know, if you can find 50 ones that are your standard, like Yelp, Home Advisor, whatever, and then 50 ones that are specific to your industry, and then 50 that are specific to your state, maybe, that's going to be the best bang for your buck. It is going to take some time to kind of, you know, work its magic for Google to go and, you know, investigate and, you know, re-scrape your information and put it back in their database, as you put it. But then the other thing outside of that, as soon as that's done, my recommendation, I mean, the biggest bang for your buck in any sort of ranking situation, whether that be local in the map ranking or ranking in search, is going to be links. So, and then you want to, if I'm a dent repair company in Glen Burnie, right? If I'm a dent repair company in Glen Burnie, if there's other companies in Glen Burnie, and I can get them to maybe point their website, you know, point a link from their website to our website, and that's immensely going to increase your rank, because that's kind of validating where you're located. It's validating that this other site that is, you know, in that area is pointing to yours and saying that this is a legitimate dent repair site. Yeah. So yeah, you could make like graphics or maybe images, before and after pictures, and, you know, reach out to them. And that's things that like somebody like I would do. And, you know, I'd be like, literally call the person on the phone that owns the business that's located near the client that I'm working with, and saying, hey, you know, I got this company down the street that's, you know, kind of related to your niche. You know, maybe this is an auto repair shop and you're a repair place, and it's like, hey, we have a really good article that might, or some good images before and after that you could use on your site. And I think it's good information for whoever your people are. And if you could link that back to our site, you know, that would be really helpful. Maybe do a link share where you're linking back to their site saying, hey, we recommend this you know, auto repair shop, and they recommend us. I think those sort of things are the best thing you can do for not just for the map, but for your ranking for those pages and search in general. But yeah, for the map, that's the first thing I do with every single client is, you know, we fill out that entire Google My Business profile as accurate as possible. And then we're trying to get as many directory links that are consistent as fast as possible in that first month of like onboarding a client.
And that's a hard thing too. And we were talking about this before.
Yeah.
My area, my shop moved. Well, those citations, some of those citations have the old address. Some of those citations I didn't even set up, you know, because some of them are Yelp set up, you know, some
Yellow
of them
pages.
Yelp. Yeah.
Yep.
So it's been interesting going in and trying to manually change it. You know, like you said, there are some companies that'll do it for you. It just takes some time, and you know, some of them are expensive.
Yeah.
But the biggest thing is, one thing I've learned that a lot of these guys may not know is make sure your information is the same across everything. So your Facebook wording, your YouTube, your Instagram, your YouTube. I mean, literally everything at Yelp, Google, everything needs to be the same font, the same spacing. If it's in caps, if it's in lowercase, there's so much that you don't realize that cause an issue.
Not all of them are that specific, but there are some that are. Yeah, you're totally right.
You know, it's
you know, say your area code is, you know, in the parentheses in one listing, and then it's not in another. They, you know, sadly, that's hurting it. You know what I mean? And that could be hurting it in some situations. So it's it does pay to set it up as close as possible as you can from the get-go, because going back in, like you said, and trying to find your passwords, trying to find where it's listed, it is a giant pain. And that's why these people charge, you know, that's why the service, they charge a lot of money to fix all of it. You know what I mean? So make it consistent.
What is your personal feeling on posting? Obviously, you gave us the breakdown on the reviews and saying try to use keywords in your response. And one thing that I have realized in my business is people read those reviews and read your response. So if you're in there and you're like, somebody says, oh, Bradley did a fantastic job on my dent repair, and you say, thanks for your business, or thank you, you need to go in there and type, you know, thank you for the business and the great conversation and stopping by our Glen Burnie dent repair facility.
Yeah. That's, you know, every piece of, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, a review is a piece of content. It's not just a review, you know what I mean? And if we're optimizing our content to be for location and service, you know, the more we can kind of put in our location and service in those review responses as we can without sounding like a robot, that's the way to do it. Because, you know, it might not be proven for sure that Google's looking into, you know, the review responses and the words within it. But if they're not doing it now, they'll be doing it soon. You know what I mean? They love data. They love trying to feed the algorithm, and I mean that's what we're doing. We're feeding the algorithm. You know, in the case of a local service-based business, you know, we're feeding it service type and we're feeding it location. You know, that's what we do. So, yeah, I think you can't just say, you know, thanks. You know, and I see a lot of those. I see a lot of businesses where you know, the customer or the client, you know, has a huge paragraph of all the great things you did, and you know,
thanks.
It's like, no, don't do it.
One positive thing out of my crappy situation was when the reviews came over, like 95 of them, the replies didn't come back over. So I went in and replied to 95 of them with all of that info, you know, with a little more text. Now with the posts, how do you feel about the posts? Obviously, like we were talking about,
Yeah.
geotagging photos.
Right.
What is your feeling on the post?
I think that like bare minimum is geotagging the photos when you upload the photos. And I think having a good amount of content on there, to me is important, but that's not even kind of SEO. That's more of like me just thinking about how the end user experience is, you know what I mean? That just makes it seem more pro if it's more full. But I'm not sold on the idea yet. I really want Google to, reward businesses for using their posting content and using their platform, but haven't quite seen the proof yet. We ran for a while, my brother on his business and my business have, did video for a while. I think I stopped doing it for like 10 days, but that's, like you said, you've posted tons of, every day, every other day you post in images, and it's not really, you're just really not getting the bang for your buck out of it. That doesn't mean it's useless. You know what I mean? It might be massively useful when Google decides to start, using that data more for more stuff. But like as of right now, I just, if I'm looking at it like an 80-20 rule, I probably wouldn't be spending a terrible amount of time. Like if I'm spending a ton of time, or a business is spending a ton of time on posting to Google My Business, you do get more value probably right now in posting to Facebook over them, just because if you're not algorithmically getting rewarded by Google for posting, and generally speaking, most people are not going on Google to look, they're not surfing on Google My Business all day long. They're surfing on Facebook all day long. So yeah.
Now, what is your feeling with if you had, say you had $100 a month, would you spend money on Google AdWords or Facebook? If you had to pick, and obviously it's service based, it's different.
It'd be different. Yeah, it depends on how. So yeah, I mean, if I had to flat choose, and it's like, yeah, if I had to flat choose, it would be Facebook all day. Yeah. And what I would do is, with $100 a month, what I would do is I would run an ad. No. So I would run an ad. So you have to literally go into the ad platform. I'd make a post that's like a deal. And it's a video that'd be like 3 to 5 minutes long. And if I could cram in like the 3 stack into one video, like a let me tell you about my business, hey guys, this is what we're doing today. This is what I did for this client, and it ended up in this. And right now we're going to actually chop that price in half if you contact me directly, blah, blah, blah. If I can make that kind of a video, and normally you would push that out and like put specific demographics with it. But in this instance, for that $100, what I would do is just try to consolidate those, what we would do as normally as 3 videos, into one video that's like 3 to 5 minutes long. And I would turn off the contact us button. So it's not like, so it doesn't look like an ad. It'll still say sponsored, but it doesn't really look like an ad. It looks like a post, like a video post. And I would run that only against people that have liked your business page. And that's it. And then I would feed as many of people from my friend group, or like from my friend list, to that business page. That way it's like it's top of mind of all the people that already know you. So you're already past that trust barrier of having to do that first video of like, hey, we're a business and I've never met you. You don't know me. Do you trust me to like spend money on me? You know what I mean? Your friends are usually the first, like people that know you directly and trust you are the ones that are going to recommend you. So if you can get your business, your Facebook business profile page or whatever, to have a decent amount of people on it, and literally just run ads against them, and
so we're going to do that. Yeah, me and you are going to do that. And we're going to come back on here in a month or so, and we'll put the results up. So you guys hear that? I'm that type of guy to where, I mean, you see some of my reviews. If I'm like, if you don't like this tool, I'll buy it back. That's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. So prepare yourself, guys. I'm putting it out there. I'm going to pay for it.
Let's do it.
And we're going to figure it out and see what kind of results we can get and see if it works. So
yeah,
let's try it. What's the worst, you know?
Yeah, I think that's the best bang for your buck for $100, especially as like a first time going into not doing a boost post, doing like a real Facebook, like a full on Facebook ad. I think that's the best bang for your buck, in my opinion.
And you think video is better than photos?
For sure.
Because it captures them and keeps them there.
Yeah, 100%. Plus, remember, we're putting this in front of people you know.
Okay.
You're putting this in front of people that have already liked your business, which means they've probably already met you or have done business with you already.
True.
So really, we're kind of looking for like top of mind awareness and recommendations.
Exactly. You're building your referral platform.
You're building your referrals, right? Exactly.
That's a good idea. Look at that. Breaking some knowledge tonight. I'm excited. I'm excited to spend money on Facebook ads now.
Yeah, man.
So what's your thoughts on Yelp? That's a touchy subject here. In my business here in Maryland, not very good.
Not very good. I've found that Yelp is not really good in the state of Maryland in general. I've seen things where, it's pretty low Yelp is a huge directory, right? I mean, it's everybody knows what Yelp is, state to state, everyone's business is listed in Yelp. I just don't think it's as valuable of getting reviews on Yelp. I don't think is anywhere near as valuable for your ranking, for your business in general, than it is on Google, for sure. I think if you're gonna push people to give you reviews, please push them to Google. Don't push them anywhere.
And it's super easy. You literally can go, and I'm gonna explain how you do this. I should have set it up for a screen share, but you can go into your Google platform, go to your customer tab, click the customer tab. It's gonna bring up your reviews. In the corner, you're gonna see 3 dots in a triangle. Click that. It'll pop everything up. You just hit copy, or you can even hit the message button right there. I just hit copy and then go in. And what it'll do is it'll bring up. I mean, it's actually really, really well done. Yeah. On how it shows up. I would show you, but it's gonna just show the light. But it literally brings up your profile. Yeah. Takes them right to the review.
Yep.
So you don't need an expensive company to do it. You could do it yourself, make it really easy. And it automatically says like RPS Dent Specialist would love your feedback, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And it's in there. And it seems to work. I do the thing of, I'm not the guy to give discounts for reviews. It's just not me. I always felt, I'll give you $20 off if you leave me a review. And I just felt that was kind of grimy on my end, I just look at them and tell them, hey, it helps me grow my business.
Right.
Most people are like, okay, no problem. And the other thing you have to watch out is how much you bother them. Like I'll send it to them. I'm trying to dissect what is the best time to send them that link.
Right.
Do you send it as soon as they leave because they're just getting in their car? Or do you send it at 6 o'clock at night? So I'm trying to dissect the best times to send them.
Yeah, you gotta let me know about that. I'm very curious.
I haven't figured it out yet.
There is a window for sure that's like optimal.
If you don't get a review the first day, I usually hit them at dinner time the next day, and it seems to help. But after that, I let it go. Like you're not going to leave a review. Cool.
Yeah.
Look at this. Alex needs your info, or Alan does. He's big into this, trying to figure out the internet and be cost effective and do the right thing. So Alan always has really good questions.
Sounds good. Yeah.
But you do, it seems like you did a lot of work with service-based businesses. You did the,
I'd say that's more it's the one that I'm most interested in, and I think it's the one that like if I had to pick my SEO quote unquote niche, it's local service-based business SEO. You know what I mean? It's people providing services, and how can we generate more leads and influence for a business using digital marketing? Yeah, exactly.
Now, reaching back to the Google My Business, they offer a website. What is your thoughts on that? It says website, $12 a year or whatever.
Yeah.
Even though if you already have a website,
You can still do it.
Is it beneficial for you to take that website too?
I don't know. That's been a kind of a newer thing that I've been introduced to. I don't like it. I like it and I don't like it.
Because you're building it yourself. I dissected
Yeah.
it and I'm like, that's every post that I built.
Yeah.
Put on there.
So it's good and it's bad. Like I think it's nice and easy. I don't think it's very. I don't think you can do. There's not a lot you can do. Like I feel like most people that use that as their site, they're going to grow out of it really fast.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have enough options really. But I would say, yeah, where I find it useful is probably in situations where a business is, getting started up and they don't have time or money to invest in building up a website and they need it quick. Just put it together. You know what I mean? It's fairly easy to put together and it's through Google. So, it should be, theoretically pushing back all that information to the algorithm to help you. But yeah, I think most people grow out of it really fast. Same reason why people move away from Wix and Squarespace. Yeah. It's like you hit a threshold and it's like my business is continually growing out of this. And it's like, I can't put things where I want them. I can't add I can't modify things to really help my SEO better. There's a plugin I can't get in here. And I think that's, most of the time people end up in WordPress because it just has it just seems to be the easiest and the most universal. Yeah.
And I mean, it's with Google, it's cheap. I think it was like $12 a year or something ridiculous. But I really looked at it and I was like, that's all my post,
The question is it worth it, or is it useful / worth it to use that site as like an additional site to your existing site? I don't know the answer, but I think that could be maybe. You know what I mean?
Now, what's your feeling with businesses with, I guess, I don't know if they would consider it a landing page to where you were just saying how you would say like Glen Burnie Dent Repair.com. Yeah. Now, is that considered a landing page? Is that?
I mean, I don't know if that's a landing page. Really, landing page would be so landing pages, in my opinion, are usually something that is specific to an ad. So like it's not going to be accessible from your navigation on your website. It's just going to be a page that we've created. And it's, unless you know the address and the URL, you don't know it. And then you would link that as so you'd run an ad, like a Google ad or a Facebook ad or something like that. And when someone clicks to opt in or to check it out, they land directly on that page. And then you put things on that page on the back end so you can track to see where it came from. Mm-hmm. That's more like a landing page. What I would consider like Glen Burnie Dent Repair or something like that would be like I always say this, right? Like if you're a service-based business, you should have pages for every service you provide, and you should have pages for every service area that you do provide services for. It's not really a landing page per se. You can use them as landing pages for sure, but I think splitting them out allows you to kind of get more specific, because at the end of the day, it's really like it's the end user's, it's the client's experience, right?
Yeah.
If someone's searching for Glen Burnie Dent Repair and they land on your home page and you don't have information, and you don't have anything that's saying, hey, we do dent repair in Glen Burnie, it's not as specific. Their experience has changed, and then your conversion might go down. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas like if we have a page where someone's searching specifically for Glen Burnie Dent Repair and you are number 3, you know what I mean? And they click on it after reading it and they land on the page and there's like a ton of content and it's really like a ton of before and after, things that let me know they are a real business in Glen Burnie, just examples of work, tools you use, certifications you might have, stuff that's in relation to location, and then the form to get in contact. I think that just generally speaking seems to just convert a lot better than pushing
I do
people
too.
pushing people to the homepage. I think a lot of times people will run ads and just send people to their homepage, and the ad might be completely different than the than the homepage. Like, yeah, it's your overarching business is there on the homepage, but like their experience is going from, I'm looking for this exact type of thing, and you might even already have a page that is that exact thing, and then you're pushing them to the homepage, which is like, this is all our stuff.
Yeah.
Like the things that I do, right? Like I do run Facebook ad campaigns for clients, SEO and web development. And if I'm trying to rank for web development in Glen Burnie, or web designer in Glen Burnie, and then they click on the ad and it lands on the homepage and it's like, we also do this, hey, and then they're like, you know what I mean? I don't know. It's just a weird experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And like on my website's evolved. I've realized Americans are lazy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
what I learned, what I've watched is, like on my homepage, I have just about everything there. I have before and afters, I have reviews, I have certifications, I have the location.
Which is good.
Then if they wanted to dive into the website,
yeah,
then they'll dive into the website. But I've realized they're just lazy, and I'd rather capture them and try to keep them on that homepage as long as I can.
Yeah.
And give them everything in their face.
Yep.
And
I think that's the right approach as well, though. I think that is the right approach because, you want your homepage to be probably the strongest, and try to make the experience easy. Like you said, like put everything there. And then you don't want your homepage to have like people to get on it and be like, nope, and leave. You want them to kind of chill, kind of consume everything. That way it's kind of telling people, Google, like, hey, Joe Smith, clicked on a link after making this specific search for Glen Burnie dent repair. They landed on this page and he was on that page for 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. That's sending some really good signals. You know what I mean? Yeah. As opposed to, them landing onto the homepage and there's like nothing there, and they're like, all right, and then they're out in 20 seconds. That's sending a bad signal back to Google. Like,
Alan's asking
the right thing. Go ahead.
I don't know exactly what he's going to have to break this down. Could it hurt your ranking in Google to have a website? I guess he's thinking to have the Google website or his website. So you'll have to specify, Alan. I'm thinking, is it going to hurt your ranking in Google to have that extra Google website?
Yeah, I don't actually know. I've never tried that out. I would think not, because it is Google.
It's their product, yeah.
However, you never know with Google. You know what I mean? It could be, obviously, you'd be using a different domain name than you should. Shouldn't hurt your ranking.
And the weird thing was that I noticed, I looked at it last week, and I'm looking at it, and it's got a different phone number. And I'm like, what the hell phone number is this? Somebody's using my stuff. When you getting their phone number? No, it was my Google ad phone number.
Oh, see, yeah, it's like it has all your data in it. Like, it's fully already optimized. So I think, like, if you're just if you're starting up a business, or you just need a website on the fly, I would, I would hit it.
It's $12 a year.
$12 a year. You can't beat it. So
maybe I should do it. See if they can.
See what happens. Yeah.
At this point.
Yeah.
But
you have a ton of other domain names you could use. You might as well try it. Throw it up there, see what happens. You know what I mean?
What do you think if you have somebody like Alan that's really trying to grow? What is your thought on, your best bang for your buck to get out and try to do something?
Sorry, can you explain that one more time? My bad.
So if you're low on money, you're trying to grow.
Mm-hmm.
What's the best bang for your buck to put money? Build a website, really push your Facebook and Instagram. What is your thought?
That's tough. It depends on the business, I suppose. If you had no money and you need, if you have no money and you need leads now, I would say I would use that $100 the way I was saying before, is do it on Facebook and run it against people that have already liked your Facebook page to try to get referrals and try to build a website yourself on the cheap.
Like a Wix or
that
WordPress.
Google, or the Google one that's super cheap.
And like Adam says in here, Adam's
You don't want
extremely smart. You don't want multiple websites.
Yeah, you probably, you don't want multiple websites for the same. You really don't want multiple websites for the same business. Unless you're kind of, unless you're kind of trying to point. Yeah, like for instance, I was working for a company that sold light bulbs, and then they also had a separate website that they sold light bulbs and light ballasts, and they had a website that sold both of those, and then they had another website that was just information about ballasts, and they tried to get that to rank and then point that back like, oh, and by the way, the best place to buy ballasts for your light bulbs is blank, and they would send them to that site. They owned both the sites, but it was just a way of kind of controlling the market, I guess, in a way. So that's how it could be. It could be more useful in that way.
But like me, I have a bunch of domains that redirect to my one website.
Right.
I don't know. It's tough, man. All this stuff is crazy. I've worked with Adam on some stuff too, and
nice.
It's difficult. And the other problem is everything changes so much.
Oh yeah, it changes so fast. There's some. I would say a lot of it stays the same. You know what I mean? You're not going to get away from, backlinking. Good links and good content are always going to be, is what it is. The best. We've ranked pages for keywords in the beginning without even doing any citation links or doing any backlinking or anything like that. Just from really good content, making an amalgam of the best pages, and re-indexing with Google, and then trying to get as much traffic to it as possible. But I think like it does change. There's new tactics that change every day. But I'd say like your bread and butter is going to be getting other people to point to your website and vouch for your credibility in your niche, and really good content. And patience.
Yeah. Like Adam gave me the tip with having customers post the photos. You know what I mean? Give that a whirl in your Google My Business and trying to get the customer to be validated that they were there.
Brilliant. Yeah, that's exactly.
Now Alan's saying I'm spending $400 a month for the last 3 months, and I maybe got 3 calls.
What are you spending $400 on?
Good question. It's either Facebook or Google. I guess let us know on that, Alan. So Adam's saying destination content sites are a thing. It makes sense.
What do you mean by destination content sites?
1 plus 1.
Are you saying like the I was saying before with the where they were having like a ballast and content site that was pushing to the sale site? Yeah, that does make sense. There are, there was a time when I was thinking about getting into like rank and rent, where you would like build a site that's really just there to lead gen, and you would rent it to companies. For instance, maybe you'd make a website for like roofers, roofers in Denver, Colorado, and then as and put a ton of content on there, get it to rank for all these good keywords. Then as people would call in, you'd forward them to.
And there are guys that do that.
There's guys that do that. I just think it's a really tricky business, and it doesn't really play, like, to me, it doesn't really play out for the client in the long run. Like they're very dependent on that working, and you do have a worry that if you do link up the Google My Business profile to that, you might get some bad reviews where people think they're getting scammed, or you know what I mean.
I've had guys reach out and say, "Oh, I do a program to where I get the leads generated and then I subcontract them out." And I was like, "Yeah, we're not, not doing that. It looks like he's doing Google, and there is a company called out of I think New Jersey called Pushing PDR. I don't know. You really have to see what they're
Yeah.
offering you.
Yeah. Like,
what's broken down.
and is it like, is it right for you? Like, is it right for your business? Like, is that tactic right? Because a lot of times I'm like I said, before I got into doing SEO, we were paying a company $4,000 when I was working for the light bulb company to do it per month. And they were such a huge company and didn't really treat the company like, they were probably really amazing at doing SEO for like Pepsi or something like that, you know, like a huge, huge business, but they didn't quite know how to like do it for a smaller business, for a local business. The tactics are different. And I think if you run a local business, then maybe they're applying the wrong tactics. I'm not saying their tactics are bad. I just think it might just be the the wrong tactics for your business, possibly.
Yeah. And
$400 for 3 leads is not, it's not right unless your leads are worth a lot of money.
I think it was 3 weeks.
Oh, for 3 weeks.
3 months. 3
3
months.
So $400 for 3 months is not bad, I guess.
I don't know if it could be including their fee too. You know what I mean? I don't know what the breakdown is. So now, if someone's trying to grow their social media algorithm, there is what I've realized is a lot of guys that one guy in here that goes live a lot on Facebook or Instagram, it really likes those live, even live stories.
Yeah, for sure.
And it really helps you grow. You know, the more lives you do, it seems like when somebody's live all the time, all day in the stories, it seems like they have a huge amount of followers or people that are involved with that, business. Yeah. Have you looked into any of that?
A little bit. Like, only reason I know a little bit of experience with the social media type stuff, like social media marketing and whatnot, beyond Facebook advertising. To me, Facebook advertising has a little more of like a ones and zeros, hammers and nails kind of feeling to it, which I like in comparison to like social media engagement and marketing is a little more subjective. But like my wife sells soap on Etsy, right? And she got her Instagram to, I think she's at 20,000 subscribers on Instagram and 30,000 subscribers on YouTube for soap making, right? And I think you're right. I think once she started doing live, there's something about that, but I don't know if that engagement is being driven by like opportunity, or is it being driven by like the social media platform algorithm? Like I can't put my finger on what that is. Like it's almost like access in a way. You know what I mean? Like she started doing lives after she reached like 10 or 15,000 subscribers, and then I'm sure her doing a live when she was only at 500 subscribers, it wouldn't have been the same.
Yeah.
But I think it's like it's almost like more personal, and maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe, I don't know. It's questionable. I haven't done enough.
I mean, even like this, I get a lot of customers, body shop guys that watch. There's a lot of body shop guys in here right now. And I'll go to the shop and they're like, oh man, I really enjoyed your show last week. And, I feel like more people that are not in your industry seem to watch those things, which is great because we're back to that referral.
How me and you linked up, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like I was posting about dent repair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just happened to, and I need to get back on my game of posting on Facebook because it definitely works. I mean, like there's no doubt about it. People are on Facebook a lot, and they're, people are looking for, like those Facebook groups. It's people looking for business opportunities.
Yeah.
The only thing I have that it is an odd dynamic, I think. And this might not be maybe related, might not be related, but for instance, you have a dent repair show that kind of attracts more people in your industry. You know what I mean? Like it's not like you're selling your actual, like your main service of dent repair. You're not selling to other dent repair guys. Same with my wife on YouTube. Like, yeah, there are people, there's a huge amount of people that watch that don't make soap but she has a huge amount of people that watch her videos because they're also soap makers, and they're just like interested in like that's
niche based.
This niche based. They're just interested in that stuff, so they'll watch it, but they're not really like super. They're not gonna like buy. You know what I mean? Like they just made soap, but they just want to see you do it too.
Yeah, I
so
mean,
it's like
there's
it's
30
an interesting.
people. There's 30 people in here, and I think 22 of them are dent guys.
Right. Like it's an interesting dynamic. Now, does that mean that it's not valuable for your algorithm or for SEO? I mean, I would say that, you know, here's the other thing. It's like, are you live streaming this? Like, you're probably not getting clients necessarily from this live stream right now, right? But you could still get SEO value out of this live stream right now, right?
Yeah, it does show up on my website.
It does. See, there you go.
So
that's the way. That's also another way of doing it. There's ways to use content that might not be like social media content that might not be a direct relation to sale, but will increase your visibility, I guess.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been looking into that a lot recently too, and it's just like it is a weird mind twist in comparison to how, kind of hammers and nails SEO is. You know what I mean? It's like SEO is like, do this, you get this, do this, you get that. Whereas like social media, there's definitely like a blend of like what tactics to use to get the best bang for your buck. Because at the end of the day, we're trying to put, people in front of content and prove to Google, hey, we had 30 people watch this live stream for an hour.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, how do we relay that information? So
yeah,
it's curious.
Well, how can people find you? What's your handle, your website, your best contact information?
Yeah, so it's MD, like Maryland, MDSEOpro.com is the website. And it's the same thing on Facebook and I think I'm on Instagram too, but I don't really use it as much. I don't find Instagram to be super useful for my industry. I do it sometimes and post it to it for fun, but for the most part, it's Facebook and the website. But yeah, reach out to me. I love consulting and I love the game of SEO and digital marketing. I think it's fun to see, take a business and to make a small tweak and all of a sudden now there's more leads coming in. It's just interesting to me. It's a game. So MD SEO Pro.
Yeah, and if you guys have any questions, reach out to me. I can send them, forward it. One guy in here I do want to help. Thank Adam Lowe. He's been a huge help. He's been trying to also help me through this interesting thing that we've got going on. So
yeah,
thank you, Adam, for some of your help. I appreciate it. But yeah, guys, hopefully you got some info out of this. There were quite a few people watching, so enjoy your evening. Get off of here. Stop listening to us ramble. But next week we've got Mr. Carl Stuckey coming on, so we got some good stuff in there. He's got some new products he's dropping. Sign up for those events and enjoy your evening. Bradley, I appreciate you coming on.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
And you guys have a fantastic evening. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.